D-Wave Quantum, ticker symbol QBTS, has had an incredible year in the stock market. The reason for this is because D-Wave has been pushing the boundaries in different ways and exceeding investor expectations. The question is, can they continue this momentum? So we're going to look at a couple scenarios. We're going to look at the short-term outlook, a middle-term outlook, and then a long-term outlook for D-Wave. We're also going to look at a recent MOU that D-Wave entered with a South Korean university to install their Advantage 2 system. And we know that D-Wave has also installed their Advantage 2 system at a company in Georgia called Davidson. So there's some exciting things that are happening. We're going to go through all of this, a quick recap also of D-Wave in 2025. And we're also going to look at their financials and the stock price. So buckle in. It's going to be a fun one. So we're going to start in 2025 with the exciting announcement of ULIC, a supercomputing center that purchased a D-Wave Advantage system. Just a month later, to continue this momentum, D-Wave released their Beyond Classical. So this was they claim that they are the first to demonstrate quantum supremacy on a real world problem. And this was their Beyond Classical computation in quantum simulation. And research shows that D-Wave's annealing quantum computer performs magnetic material simulation in minutes that would take nearly 1 million years and more of the world's annual electricity consumption to solve using a classical supercomputer built with GPU clusters. So very exciting. We saw that Japan Tobacco and D-Wave announced quantum proof of concept, which outperformed classical results for LLM training in drug discovery. I got the opportunity to go to their Qubits 2025 conference. I got to talk to a few of the guys from Japan Tobacco, and they were super friendly. And I even got a business card from their chief scientist. More recently, we've seen D-Wave and Davidson Technologies near installation completion of Alabama's first on-site annealing quantum computer. We're going to dig into that article because there were some interesting quotes that I hadn't read before I would like to share with you all. And more recently, in the past month or so, we've seen D-Wave announce the general availability of the Advantage 2 quantum computer, its most advanced and performant system. And then just a few days ago, D-Wave, Yonsei University, and Incheon Metropolitan City announced a strategic partnership. And we're going to look at that a little bit more closely as well. So the D-Wave Advantage 2 system is now generally available via the Leap Quantum Cloud Service and for on-premise installation. So they're offering access to this computer both in the cloud and on premise. The scientific part of me, the part of me that loves the science of all of these quantum computer companies, I really love the quantum supremacy, specifically the quantum computing milestone they were able to achieve. Our scientific breakthrough, published in the esteemed journal Science, confirms that our annealing quantum computer outperformed one of the world's most powerful classical supercomputers in solving a complex magnetics material simulation problem with relevance to materials discovery. The research shows that D-Wave's annealing quantum computer performs magnetic material simulation in minutes that would take nearly 1 million years. So I recently did a deep dive into this 132-page report that MIT put out on the state of quantum computers. They call it their quantum index report. And one of the areas of this report that I keep bringing up in this video, but I think is important, is there's not just one type of quantum computer. In fact, there's many different types of quantum computers, and there's many different areas of research that are simultaneously happening right now. So where does D-Wave fall in all this? Well, there's quantum circuit quantum computers, there's superconducting QPUs, there's photonic QPUs, neutral atom QPUs, trapped ion QPUs. That's trapped ion is what IonQ uses, electron spin. And then there's CATS, rail, and flux. Superconducting quantum processors are among the most promising modalities. And then there's annealers, a distinct class of quantum computer. In the principle behind quantum annealing is rooted in adiabatic theorem, which states that a quantum system will remain in its lowest energy state if its parameters are changed slowly enough and in the absence of significant noise. Using this phenomenon, an optimization problem can be mapped as an energy landscape of possible solutions, with the lowest energy being the best solution. So that's kind of where annealing and D-Wave falls in this whole quantum story.
When everybody else decided to seriously pursue developing a quantum computer, the science and the engineering had progressed to the point where it was believed you probably could build a gate model system. And at that time, and this is a really important point, at that time, it was believed that a gate model quantum computer could perform all computations, could basically solve all types of problems better than classical. And so everybody else sort of adopted the point of view, well, we know that annealing is good at some things, but not all things. We believe gate model is good at all things. We now think we know how to build a gate model system. So let's go there. Now, fast forward to a couple of years ago. And this is a really kind of interesting twist of fate, at least for D-Wave. A couple of years ago, it was proven by researchers in both the US and Europe that gate model quantum computers will likely never deliver a speed up on optimization problems. That you basically need an annealing system in order to address optimization problems.
So we saw that the most recent piece of news from D-Wave was the Yonsei University and Incheon Metropolitan City. When I was looking on forums and reading investor comments, they're like, well, show me the money. Great, they have an MOU. I think some investors are overlooking the fact that they announced in this strategic relationship, another Advantage 2 system is being installed somewhere else in the world. So now we're having Advantage 2 in Germany, South Korea, Georgia. These systems are starting to get installed in different places. These companies have to start somewhere. They're not going to be a success overnight. They're not going to blow your socks off overnight. These type of things, especially with the complexity, do take time. So under the terms of the MOU facilitates the efforts towards the acquisition of a D-Wave Advantage 2 system at the Yonsei University International Campus. And then I'm pulling quotes again from South Korea's side because I think it's interesting to see how they're looking at their partnership with D-Wave. This collaboration with D-Wave and Incheon supports our mission to facilitate a collaborative ecosystem for quantum computing literacy, research, and commercial application development, said Dong So-pyun, president of Yonsei University. By working together towards the introduction of D-Wave annealing quantum computer on site at Yonsei University, we believe we are opening up significant opportunities to advance industry and research in South Korea. And then the mayor of Incheon Metropolitan City says, we have a unique opportunity to establish Incheon as a global quantum hub. Building on Incheon's strengths in the bio industry and other key sectors, we anticipate the emergence of a true quantum cluster where quantum technology converges with various industries to create innovative breakthroughs and attract top talent from around the world. So South Korea and D-Wave seem to be very excited about this partnership. I want to go back just about 2 months to D-Wave and Davidson Technologies' installation of Alabama's first on-site annealing quantum computer. And the reason I want to talk about this again is because I had a chance to meet the CEO of Davidson and their media people, and hopefully someday I'll be able to bring Dale onto the show and have a conversation with them about the D-Wave installation. But when I talked to him and when I watched him on stage, Davidson was really, really just singing the praises of D-Wave. Now, of course, you would expect at a conference about D-Wave that the people from D-Wave would be saying good things about D-Wave, but a partner or a company that has this business partnership, it does mean a lot to hear it from someone else, a different company with different applications. So let's look at this article as well. And I highlighted a few pieces. So for those of you who don't know, Davidson is a US company supporting the DoD and aerospace customers, and they announced that the physical assembly of a D-Wave Advantage 2 annealing quantum system is complete at Davidson headquarters in Alabama. Progress with the system assembly and installation represents a major milestone in the partnership between D-Wave and Davidson and positions Alabama as a key contributor to quantum infrastructure in the US. If we go a little bit deeper into this article, it was interesting to hear how policymakers, lawmakers, and Dale Moore, the CEO of Davidson, speaks about the D-Wave partnership. Hosting the forthcoming Advantage 2 system on-site reinforces Davidson's commitment to national security innovation, says Dale Moore, CEO of Davidson. This milestone is more than symbolic. We believe it represents a step change in how quantum technology can be deployed, evaluated, and applied to defense missions that require precision, scale, and speed. Huntsville Mayor Tommy Battle saying, Huntsville is home to world-class research universities and innovative companies, and now, thanks to Davidson and D-Wave, will also be the site of Alabama's first quantum computer. This cutting-edge system places our city at the forefront of delivering advanced technology solutions to support government, defense, and high-tech manufacturing across the region. Then we have a quote here from Tommy Tuberville, a representative in Alabama. One of our top priorities is making sure our military is equipped with the most advanced technologies to support mission accomplishment. An industry-leading quantum computing system coming to the Davidson campus in Huntsville will position Alabama as a leader in developing quantum applications that can provide solutions in areas such as space, operations, and missile defense. And then finally, we had U.S. Senator Katie Britt. Installing a quantum computing system in Huntsville marks a major milestone enabling the advancement of revolutionary technologies that will help protect our nation and provide new solutions to challenging things that face our military. The system also opens the door for advanced workforce training and positions Alabama as a national leader in research and development for quantum applications. So we have lawmakers, we have the mayor, we have senators that are very happy about this, and they're very happy about the implications. They're very happy about what it means for Alabama and the Department of Defense and technology in general. So very nice to see that. We also know that this year, D-Wave made its first sale to the ULIC Supercomputing Center, and they purchased this D-Wave quantum computer. So we've just spent some time discussing computers that are installed but not yet purchased. We also know that the Advantage 2 system is available to be installed on site, but it's also available in their cloud. I also want to take a look at their Q1 financial results because this might be one of the most impressive Q1 summaries of the stock market in 2025. So the first quarter of 2025 was arguably the most significant in D-Wave's history, and especially in terms of our unique ability to deliver quantum value today to our customers and the science community. We recognized revenue on our first Advantage system to a major research institution, moved an additional customer application into commercial production, and became the first to demonstrate quantum supremacy over classical computing on a real-world useful problem. D-Wave has consolidated cash balance a total of $304 million as of March 31st, 2025, a record quarter-end balance for the company. The management believes that its cash balance is sufficient to fund the company to profitability. We see that later this year, they also did another ATM offering, and we're going to go into that as well and kind of look at what that means from the financial standpoint for D-Wave. Potential for $400 million offering. D-Wave's latest ATM offering allows the issuance or sale of up to $400 million in shares of common stock. Because the announcement included the provision that D-Wave could issue new shares, this development could be dilutive for investors. The dilution in this way can be bad for existing shareholders because it means they suddenly own a smaller percentage of the company, which may also lead to reduced voting rights. As mentioned, this latest announcement is D-Wave's second ATM offering this year. The first for $150 million was completed in January. For investors skeptical about the ATM strategy, it may appear that D-Wave relies heavily on these equity offerings to fund operations as its revenue generation capabilities are minimal. And that is correct. At this time, the revenue generation capabilities are minimal. The other side of this, on the other hand, more optimistic investors might view this most recent ATM offering announcement as D-Wave's attempt to capitalize on share price that is just shy of all-time highs. Raising money by issuing new shares can be minimally dilutive when the stock price is high, because it means fewer new shares are needed to achieve a particular dollar goal. So if we take into account the $300 million cash position they had and this $400 million at the money offering, it does look like D-Wave is in a strong financial position from a cash position to keep operating despite what happens to its stock price. And that's key. We need to separate near-term stock price movement from the underlying fundamentals of the company and the ability for the company to move into greater and greater revenues. Let's take a look at said revenues and see what the story looks like. We see that all time before this year, the most it had ever traded at was around $10 or $12. And now we see that it's moved up into this new level of around the $16 to $18 price point. The reason the stock moved up so significantly is because of that computer sale. Mainly that computer sale to Jülich increased their revenue, and it looks like a pretty major anomaly in their revenues for 2025. Their net income was poor 2 quarters ago, but seems to be trending the correct way, or the way we want to see as investors. Their operating income has fluctuated in the last couple of quarters. It looks like it's going the right direction. Their free cash flow, it looks like, is going the wrong direction, and their operating cash flow is also more negative. Their CapEx, cost and operating expenditures, have increased. But what we see here is the cash and cash equivalents and the total debt. So they have done a great job of reducing debt while also increasing their cash position. And this is only taking into account the cash position they reported in Q1 and does not include what they may report with their $400 million ATM in Q2. So their cash position may look a lot better come Q2. Now, the main concern with all quantum computing investing is they're not making a ton of revenue at this point in time. Can D-Wave continue this momentum? For me personally, until I'm given strong other information, until I learn new other information, this to me, this $15 million spike is going to be an anomaly, and we're going to see D-Wave return to the mean, return to the averages until they're able to secure another sale, or until they're able to create a meaningful stream of revenue beyond computer sales. So they still have a lot to prove. They've proven a lot in 2025, but they still have a lot to prove. And now the question will be, as we move into the price analysis piece of this, what will this company do in the short term, medium term, and long term as far as stock price? So nobody really knows is the short answer, but we can take a stab at some guesses. Sure, why not? We're here when in Rome, right? So we talked about this on Profit Viz. Now we're looking at the chart from just the all-time chart. So from IPO, the stock really spent a lot of time under $2 a share. And if we zoom in to 2025 in December and the quantum euphoria, we see that it jumped up to $10 and then came down to less than $4 a share at one point after the quantum crash. Now we see that it's all the way up in this new category, this new realm, the nosebleeds for D-Wave. But historically, most of the price history is well below its current stock price. So what is going to keep D-Wave in this momentum going? What is going to drive the stock price higher? There's a couple catalysts that I can think of. One is if they continue their excellent research, if they continue to be a contributor to the scientific community in a meaningful way and keep releasing and showing papers that show this quantum supremacy and quantum advantage, more use cases, that is going to help them greatly. They need to make more computer sales, since that creates a lot of income for them. They have somewhere between 20 to $40 million per sale is what is generated when they sell an Advantage 2 system. Large partnerships with big tech players could be game changer for D-Wave. And then finally, just my own personal opinion is D-Wave needs to really get into the space of AI, data centers, optimization, and energy reduction. So the average AI data center costs millions of dollars to run just in the electrical bill. And it costs a lot of money. It's not great for the environment. So if D-Wave with their annealing and optimization technologies can find ways to complement existing supercomputer stacks, this could be game changing for D-Wave in the future. So there's a lot of catalysts that are potential for D-Wave. There's new partnerships, there's new sales, new research, and finally, and maybe most importantly, as this company steers their way into the late part of our 2020 decade and early 2030s, is the problem of AI data centers and supercomputing centers and the cost it takes to run them. If they can find a way, optimize those systems, it will be game changing for D-Wave. Let's take a look at more recent price action. From Thursday, May 8th, right about their earnings, there was a 188% increase at one point when the stock almost reached $20. And currently it's at a 131% increase. I'm going to bring some drawings to the chart here and just show you some levels that I'm looking at. So a couple indicators that I think are important to look at are during the initial rally, there was a lot of volume that pushed the stock up, and the volume has been trailing off. Recently, D-Wave hasn't had many press releases or new information. So I'm covering kind of everything that's happened in 2025 for D-Wave and why it's trading at such a rich multiple here. What is D-Wave doing from a price perspective is it seems to clearly have a lot of support at this $15 level. It seems every time it touches 15, there are buyers who step in and pick up more shares of D-Wave. Now we're very close to this level of support. And we see that even from the highs and the euphoria and perhaps some FOMO to now, there has been a 22% roughly, 20% of the gains from D-Wave's rally have been given back from its all-time highs to where it currently sits. Now, will D-Wave be able to move into the next level or retest all-time highs? We're probably going to need to see some catalysts. So we're going to need to see wider sector momentum with quantum, or we're going to need to see some of the catalysts that I've just described. Can it hold this $15 price point? This is where I want to give a warning to all investors, D-Wave investors especially, that if they come back and they give another quarter at a $2 or $3 million, the stock is most likely not going to hold this $15 price point. I could see it easily moving back down to 13, which was where it was before this last explosion up. I could see it moving back down to a $10, $11, or $12 price point, as investors would be disappointed and dump the stock because they want profits now and they're not willing to be patient. If we're looking at the 1-year chart and what could realistically happen, I think if they don't come and give a crazy guidance number, or if they don't come and show us the revenue, I think we go down. And I think that $10 would be reasonable in a bearish case. In an ultra bearish case, the stock could be sent down to 8, 6, anywhere down there, and potentially hold this longer uptrend. So then what we would see is sort of this jump to 19 would be anomaly, and they would kind of hang around along that rising support around $10 until they're able to prove that they can continue to post exceptional revenue and they can show that their growth story is intact, because there's lots of places in the stock market to put your money and lots of companies that make a lot of money. So quantum investors, if you're early to this disruptive technology, you need to understand that there are risks, there are downside risks, absolutely, to investing in quantum stocks. But on the flip side, in the bull case, now that I've definitely qualified this enough, on the bull case, if they are to come out with a system sale this quarter, if they are to come out with multiple system sales, if they have some sort of major partnership with someone like an NVIDIA or a Apple or a Google, then the stock would move accordingly up. So that's kind of the risk reward of playing this game with D-Wave and their annealing technology. And one final thought from me personally is we looked earlier at all of the technologies that are in the market, and D-Wave has a ton of patents specifically on annealing technology. And it does seem that there is a market for annealing technology, that it may have a spot in the future of supercomputing stacks. According to Dr. Baratz himself, he has said that annealing and gate-based computers will most likely do different things, but will both be needed. So if you think about it from that perspective, D-Wave more or less has a monopoly on annealing quantum computing. And that alone makes it a fascinating investment and pure play. As always, do your own research and do your own due diligence. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just out here providing information and entertainment, hopefully. If you like content like this, please consider leaving a like or subscribe, and we hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon.